Welcome back to Rise and Grind, and welcome to the final installment of our What the Fuck series. Today we are talking what the fuck is visualization? And if you are new to this series, essentially what we're doing is we're just debunking terms that the online space loves to throw around, but doesn't really tell you what it means. And a lot of people who throw it around don't fully understand it. So we are doing a full overview of visualization today. And I feel like this is a bold claim, but I mean it. Visualization is potentially the most powerful tool you can be using. And therefore, this is my favorite episode in this series. So let's get into it. So visualization is usually talked about when it comes to like vision boards or like just see it and believe it and things like that. And while those things are not necessarily wrong, they aren't a full understanding of visualization and its power when it comes to how the brain works. So a lot of people will try visualization and they feel either A, like they're struggling with it and they don't really know why it's not working, or B, they try it and it's really hard for them to get clear on things. And because of that, it doesn't work for them because they're not actually utilizing visualization properly. And just like much of the things that have been claimed by the woo community, which I am a lover of the woo community, so this is not shade toward them, but just like many of those things that people just sort of like slap a woo-woo label on, this is actually brain science and it is proven to work. You can read so many different experiments. There's a lot of research and data on the power of visualization. So before we get too far into it, I just want to remind you of the credibility of this work. Now, the downside of visualization being kind of shoved into the woo-woo category is a lot of people assume it's a very like passive and energetic thing when it's actually a super concrete tool for your brain that is backed by neuroscience because it shifts your nervous system and it also allows you to create new neural pathways. So you're basically changing the way that you think and changing the things you believe simply by visualizing things that you desire. So I just said a minute ago that a lot of people are not using visualization properly. So let's break down what that actually means. Now, as a former musician, I have spent many hours in rehearsal. I don't know how many. I literally wouldn't be able to count. Likely tens of thousands of hours, if I had to guess, between all of the different things I've rehearsed in my entire life. And visualization is essentially like a rehearsal, but for your brain. And so you are training your brain and you are practicing, looking for opportunities, recognizing things that are going to get you to the thing that you want, while also feeling safe having those things because we know that what feels normal and safe for our brain is what our brain's going to revert to. So when you visualize something vividly enough, like in great detail, to the point where you are also feeling connected to that thing, your brain starts processing it like it's already happening now. And so this is why you hear people like Olympic athletes or performers or really high achievers of any kind visualizing themselves succeeding before it actually happens. And there is so much data. I actually talked about this in a past episode, but there was a research study out of Harvard where pianists who visualized themselves practicing, didn't actually touch the keys, but who visualized themselves practicing improved almost as much as a group of pianists who physically practiced hand to piano. Your subconscious mind doesn't actually give a shit if it's real or not. It just knows what you show it with enough feeling, and that is what it starts to train your brain around. So why does this happen? We have talked before about the Reticular Activating System, or the RAS, and this is just a part of your brain that I refer to as the bouncer in your brain, but a lot of people will call it the filter also. And essentially what's happening in the RAS is it's only letting things into your brain based off of what you think is important and what you are focused on. So I am someone who really intentionally focuses on certain things because I know that my RAS is going to pay more attention to opportunities to help me get those things. It's also how that yellow car theory works, if you've heard of that, where if you start thinking about yellow cars, you're going to start seeing them everywhere. And it's not because yellow cars are suddenly appearing where you live, it's because you have trained your RAS to actually notice them instead of just filtering them out and kicking them out the door. The same thing happens when you visualize anything, when you bring anything to focus in your brain. So whether that's a certain type of business, whether that's a certain amount of money, whether it's success, whether it's confidence, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you tell your RAS to notice and look for is what it's going to be noticing and looking for. So if you are not consistently and intentionally telling your brain, hey, this is what I want to pay attention to, it's not going to fucking pay attention. So that's why visualization is so powerful. But here is the missing piece that most people are not actually utilizing. I spoke a moment ago about the emotional connection. You actually want to feel like you're there. And the reason why is because your subconscious rewiring strengthens when you have an emotional attachment to it, because you start to believe and feel safe that that thing is actually possible for you. And on top of that, if you're just like seeing it willy-nilly and you're not really paying close attention, your nervous system is going to totally dismiss it and be like, okay, this isn't real anyway. Like, fuck this shit, basically. Whereas if you truly feel it and you embrace it and you take visualization not only as simply what you're seeing in your mind, but what you are embodying and feeling with every fiber of your being, whoo, girl, the whole world can change. Now, don't get me wrong and hear me saying that visualization is a replacement for taking action. It is not. It is a tool to allow your brain to start seeing opportunities and noticing what action to take in order to get closer to the thing that you want. It's not just, visualize for 5 minutes every night and you don't have to do anything else. Although I will say that will probably get you further than not visualizing at all. But it is still required to show up for yourself and fully embody beyond just your visualization time. So here is one of my favorite visualization techniques. I'm just going to give it to you right now. The first thing I would do is get clear on what you want, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. This will work for literally anything. It could be for an amount of money, signing clients, a car. I talked about manifesting my new car. Literally whatever you want. Could even be like a partner or a dream house. I don't care. You can use this for basically everything. Then when you close your eyes, you're going to visualize what it's like when you already have it. You're not wishing for it in this moment. It's already yours. You are embodying the version of yourself that already lives the reality in which that thing belongs to you. Then you're going to work to employ all 5 senses. You're really going to get clear, like, what are you hearing during this part of your life? When this is actually your reality, what kind of things do you see? What kind of things do you feel? Like, use all of your senses and then turn up the fucking dial. Like, once you get clear on what kind of things are present, make it even more intense, because the realer it feels to your brain and the more emotionally connected you are to it, the quicker you're going to be able to make it happen. Then it needs to get paired with embodiment. And this is the piece of the puzzle that a lot of people drop the ball on. What would you be doing if that was already your reality? How would you be behaving if it was already your reality? If you knew that there was no fucking way that you weren't going to get what you wanted, how differently would you be showing up? Like, you have to become that version of you right now. And then I have 2 more focuses here. After you visualize and you're like really turning up that intensity and then are employing the action to really embody that version of you. Next, we need to be doing this every single day. Okay, your brain really needs daily reminders if you want to rewire. Consistency and reinforcement are your besties right now. And then this last thing is more of like a disclaimer, and this is something that I really had to learn to let go of, which is let go of needing to know exact details on how it comes to you. Because if I had to guess, God's really going to show up for you, and whatever you could conjure up in your mind isn't as good as what he's going to do anyway. So let go of the how. So just a couple wrap-up tips. Visualization is not this magical thing. It's literally just brain science, and you really, really have to feel like it's happening. You can't just see it with no emotional connection. So what I want to challenge you to do is give yourself 7 days of consistent visualization, consistent embodiment to match your visualization. And I promise you're going to feel different. And if you want a guided visualization, I have a nightly visualization inside the Healing House portal that is absolutely chef's kiss. I told you guys in a past episode, I visualized every single night when I was manifesting my dream car, which is currently sitting in my garage. So y'all already know that this shit works. And with that, my queens, I hope that answers the question, what the fuck is visualization? And that is officially a wrap on our What the Fuck series. I'm so glad you're here. I cannot wait for the rest of this podcast season. But in the meantime, if you want to be in my world, the link to Healing House is below. And with that, my queens, I will see you next week. Bye.